I need to score 30 out of 30 on the TOEFL speaking section in a few days, and I have no idea where to begin. I don't know how to organize my answers, how to fit all the details into 45 or 60 seconds, and how to take notes effectively. If this sounds like you, please keep watching this video. My name is Anastasia, and welcome to our channel, where you will find all the tips and tricks on how to pass the TOEFL with a great score. I scored 119 out of 120 on the TOEFL test, and have been preparing students for this exam for over 10 years. In this video, we'll do an entire TOEFL speaking section together. By the end of this video, I hope you will understand that the TOEFL speaking test is not as scary as it seems, and you will be equipped with all the necessary tools and knowledge to tackle it effectively. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get more tips and tricks about the test, and click the bell icon to be notified when the next video comes out. Let's get started! The test we'll be taking is from the ETS website. You can find the link below. Try answering the questions yourself first, and then continue watching to hear my answers. For more practice, feel free to watch this video where I analyze another speaking section. Question 1. Independent speaking.
You will now give your opinion about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to speak. Some people enjoy taking risks and trying new things. Others are not adventurous, they are cautious and prefer to avoid danger. Which behavior do you think is better? Explain why.
I believe people should take risks and try new things because it allows them to constantly grow and improve their lives. I remember back in college, I always said yes to all kinds of activities and events. For example, I would join different clubs and sports teams even though I had no prior experience, like playing soccer, fencing, and participating in theater productions. Nothing too risky, of course, but while I was a little nervous at first, it helped me discover new passions and improve my teamwork and communication skills. It also allowed me to build a diverse network of friends from all walks of life, many of whom I still keep in touch with today. This question is usually the hardest for most students because you should speak non-stop for 45 seconds and also think about what to say at the same time. I often see how students struggle with it during the consultations I give for our TOEFL prep course and in my one-on-one sessions. The truth is, it's not as hard as it seems. You should do a certain list of things that will help you answer this question effectively. And don't panic. In fact, this is my favorite part to explain during my consultations because I love to see people who have been struggling with their answers finally start to produce solid responses without pauses, which completely changes their scores. So first, drill the introductory sentence. That's the first sentence in your response, and you should be able to produce it like this for every question you come across. Then, give one reason for your opinion. You can give two if you're a fast speaker, but often having one clear reason is more than enough. Besides, this way you can elaborate on your point and provide more details. Which brings us to part 3. Drill examples. In fact, every example you give in the independent question is almost the same. You start by creating context. For example, I remember when I was a kid, I used to ... Then you add details. I'd come back from home and I'd do my homework and then ... And finally, you show some results. Why this example is relevant. For example, this allowed me to ace my exams and ... So for this question, you should simply choose one of the two options. State your choice at the beginning and then give one reason why you think so, and finish with a detailed example. By the way, if you want to know the speaking and writing templates that make up half of your answers and allow you to boost your score from 22-23 to 25-27, click on the link below. By using these templates, you'll feel confident and relaxed on test day and know exactly what to say for each type of question. And because you're watching this video, there is a special promo code you can use. Now, question 2, campus announcement.
The university is making a change in the courses it will offer. First, read the article from the university newspaper about the change. Next, listen to a conversation on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about what you have read and heard. Now listen to two students discussing the article.
Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm just upset about that article I showed you this morning.
Why? What's the big deal?
Well, as an art major, I think it's a big loss for the department. The university's got it all wrong.
What do you mean?
Well, the low enrollment isn't because art majors don't want to take these classes. Problem is, who has time to take them when there are so many other requirements?
I don't understand.
You see, the classes they're eliminating are all optional. The required courses are mostly painting and drawing, and they take up all our time. What we really need are different requirements, then art majors could take a better variety of classes, all the things we're interested in.
That makes sense. But, the thing about the professor.
Well, that's true. But still, they're being drastic. If money's the problem, they could hire a part-time professor. Or, most of the professors in the department have secondary fields.
Really?
Yeah. At least a few painting teachers are also great sculptors. I'm sure one of them could teach a class.
The woman expresses her opinion of the university's plan. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
According to the announcement, the university's decision to eliminate the sculpture program is based on a lack of student interest, resulting in low enrollment, and the retirement of the only sculpture professor, which is a problem because of the department's limited budget. However, the speaker disagrees with this decision, since she believes it's a huge loss for the department. First, she says that the sculpture classes are all electives, and students are already overwhelmed with core courses like painting and drawing, so it's not like they are not interested in taking these classes. They simply don't have time. She also believes that changing the course requirements would allow art majors to take a wider range of classes. Secondly, the student says that if money is a problem, the university could hire a part-time professor or ask faculty who have secondary fields in sculpture to step in. She adds that some painting teachers are also great sculptors. This would solve the budget problem while keeping the program alive. For this question and all the other integrated speaking questions, think about your notes. In fact, there are 3 things you should be able to do to succeed in these tasks. 1. Understand the reading and listening material well. 2. Take and organize notes effectively. And 3, make sure you present the information logically. If you can do this, you'll definitely score at least a 3.5 out of 4 on all these questions. Note that you should paraphrase the information from the reading a bit and include lots of details from the listening. The listening part is more important, so try to spend at least 30 to 40 seconds talking about it. Moving on, question 3, general to specific.
Read a passage from a psychology textbook. Then, listen to the lecture that follows. Listen to part of a talk in a psychology class.
I think this will help you get a picture of what your textbook is describing. I had a friend who taught in the physics department, Professor Jones. He retired last year. Anyway, I remember, this was a few years ago, I remember passing by a classroom early one morning just as he was leaving, and he looked terrible. His clothes were all rumpled, and he looked like he hadn't slept all night. And I asked if he was okay. I was surprised when he said that he never felt better, that he was totally happy. He had spent the entire night in the classroom working on a mathematics puzzle. He didn't stop to eat dinner, he didn't stop to sleep, or even rest. He was that involved in solving the puzzle. And it didn't even have anything to do with his teaching or research. He had just come across this puzzle accidentally, I think in a mathematics journal, and it just really interested him. So he worked furiously all night and covered the blackboards in the classroom with equations and numbers, and never realized that time was passing by.
Explain flow and how the example used by the professor illustrates the concept.
The reading is about flow, which is when you are so immersed in an activity that challenges your physical and mental abilities that you lose track of time and feel deeply satisfied with what you are doing. The professor delves deeper into the subject by giving an example of his friend, Professor Jones, who used to teach in the physics department. He says that his friend once stayed up all night working on a math puzzle that he had stumbled upon and which had no connection to his research or classes. He adds that Jones was so excited to solve it that he worked hard all night, writing numbers and equations on the blackboards in the classroom without stopping for dinner, sleep, or rest, completely forgetting the time. However, when the professor saw him the next morning, looking disheveled and terrible, his friend Jones said that he had never felt so happy. How was that? For this question, try to avoid pausing too much and using too many and so on. Does that mean you should talk like a robot? Not really. You can pause, but not too much. If you pause every 1 or 2 words, it will lower your delivery score. Also, don't repeat the same words too often. You don't want to say influence 3 to 5 times in your answer. Instead, think about how you can paraphrase or change the structure of your sentences. When practicing, it's always good to record yourself speaking or even script your answers for the first few attempts to see if you have favorite filler words or words you keep repeating. But I think the main point here is to be able to give a lot of information in a short amount of time. So you'll need complex and compound sentences. Add sentences with which, when, if, so, while, and so on. This will make your life a lot easier. Question 4. Academic lecture.
You will listen to part of a lecture. You will then be asked a question about what you heard. Listen to part of a lecture in a biology course.
Human beings aren't the only animals that use tools. It's generally recognized that other animals use tools as well, use them naturally in the wild, without any human instruction. But when can we say that an object is a tool? Well, it depends on your definition of a tool. And in fact, there are 2 competing definitions, a narrow definition and a broad one. The narrow definition says that a tool is an object that's used to perform a specific task, but not just any object. To be a tool according to the narrow definition, the object's gotta be purposefully changed or shaped by the animal, or human, so that it can be used that way. It's an object that's made. Wild chimpanzees use sticks to dig insects out of their nests, but most sticks lying around won't do the job, they might be too thick, for example. So the sticks have to be sharpened so they'll fit into the hole in an ant hill or the insect nest. The chimp pulls off the leaves and chews the stick and trims it down that way until it's the right size. The chimp doesn't just find the stick. You could say it makes it in a way. But the broad definition says an object doesn't have to be modified to be considered a tool. The broad definition says a tool is any object that's used to perform a specific task. For example, an elephant will sometimes use a stick to scratch its back. It just picks up a stick from the ground and scratches its back with it. It doesn't modify the stick, it uses it just as it's found. And it's a tool under the broad definition, but under the narrow definition it's not, because, well, the elephant doesn't change it in any way.
Using points and examples from the talk, describe the 2 different definitions of tools given by the professor.
In the lecture, the professor discusses 2 competing definitions of tools that can be used both by animals and humans. The first is the narrow definition. According to it, a tool is an object that has been intentionally modified or shaped to perform a task. She gives the example of wild chimpanzees who use sticks to get insects out of their nests. To do this, however, the chimps have to modify the sticks. They remove the leaves and chew the sticks so that they have the right size to fit into the insect nests. In this way, the chimpanzees adapt the object to their needs, which fits the narrow definition of a tool. The broad definition, on the other hand, is that a tool is any object that is used for a specific task without the need for modification. An example given in the lecture is that of elephants using sticks to scratch their backs. The elephants simply pick up a stick from the ground and use it without making any changes to it. So under the broad definition, even though it's not modified in any way, it's still a tool. This is the second most difficult question on the TOEFL speaking test. The main challenge here is to understand the information well and not get overwhelmed by the number of details. I know the first time you hear a lecture like this, you think, oh my god, how am I supposed to write all this down? Well, don't try to write down too much. What you should do instead is write down words that will guide you through your answer. You should also organize your notes clearly. For example, tools, used by animals, humans, 2 definitions, 1 narrow definition, this is the first definition. Then we explain it, intentionally modified, shaped, animal, human, perform specific task, wild chimpanzees, use sticks, dig insects, nests, modify sticks, remove leaves, chew, right size. Having these notes would help you answer the question without getting lost. But the most important thing is to understand the main idea. That way, even if you don't remember all the details, you'll still be able to summarize the lecture well. This was the speaking section of the TOEFL. Congratulations! You did it! If you want to practice more, you can watch this video or click on the link below to access the templates and study materials that will help you improve your score. The Pro package also includes speaking and writing assessments, so be sure to prepare your essays for our consultation. Let me know which question is the hardest for you, and feel free to share your answers for each question. This will help you identify the words you keep repeating and is great extra practice. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips and tricks on how to ace the TOEFL. And remember, scoring 100+ on the TOEFL isn't rocket science. It's the little things you do that make all the difference. As always, I wish you all a stellar TOEFL score. Until next time.